Moldova's ruling pro-European party has retained its majority in high-stakes elections. The ballot, which was marred by claims of Russian interference, was widely seen as a choice between East and West. The result brings Moldova closer to membership in the European Union, but not everyone is celebrating.
A landslide victory for Maia Sandu's pro-European Action Party, securing a parliamentary majority and making EU membership now an increasingly realistic proposition.
We all want the same, to live in peace, liberty, to assure our children a good and safe future in our country. The shortest way to these objectives is the European path.
With Moldova's pro-Russian opposition crushed, many rose on Monday with a sense of relief.
It's very nice to wake up in a Moldova which chose the right path: peace, development, and stability.
I am very happy with the result of the elections, and I'm happy that we have a European future.
Leaders from across Europe, including in Germany, have praised Moldova's decision, reiterating their desire to welcome Moldova into the EU in future.
This decision demonstrates the power of the vision of Europe, the vision of the EU. That is also an important message for us. We take this choice by the Moldovan people seriously, and will do everything we can to continue to strongly support Moldova on its path towards the European Union.
The election was marred by repeated Russian interference in the form of reported vote buying, cyber attacks and direct threats, making the outcome all the more satisfying for pro-Western leaders.
I spoke today in the morning with Maia Sandu. I congratulated her. Russia failed to destabilize Moldova, even after spending huge resources to undermine it and to corrupt whoever they could.
But not everyone's happy. Pro-Russian parties staged a demonstration in Chisinau on Monday, calling the election rigged. Former president and member of the pro-Russian patriotic electoral bloc, Igor Dodon, was among those gathered outside Moldova's parliament building.
We'll work for truth and justice because people are tired of living like this. The 4 years ahead will be very difficult. Look what it's brought us to. You see for yourself how we live in poverty. It's impossible to go on like this.
Those demonstrations aside, Moldova's decision is widely seen as a pivotal victory for Western democracy.
Joined now by Anastasia Pociumban. She specializes in EU enlargement at the German Council on Foreign Relations. Anastasia, it's good to have you with us. Let me ask you, was European integration, was it the decisive issue for voters?
Hi, and glad to be here. Well, I think it was both the EU integration, but also breaking away from Russia. I think this vote was a very much geopolitical vote. I think citizens of Moldova and voters understood what is at stake. So in a way, we had a path of going forward with the reform process, or a path of sliding back into Russian influence, corruption, and also unstable and fragile institutions.
There were widespread reports of Russian interference during the campaign. I'm wondering, does the victory of PAS, does it suggest that those tactics were ineffective?
I would rather say that the government did a really good job in communicating about these tactics and about Russia's attempts to destabilize Moldova. We've seen it all in Moldova. There were cyber attacks. There were attempts, there was a lot of disinformation, there were campaigns involving deepfakes, and also there were voter buying campaigns, including yesterday. There were false bomb alerts, both abroad in Brussels and in Romania, but also on the bridge between Transnistrian region and the right bank. We've also seen a lot of instigation to disorder, and the government has communicated about potential destabilization attempts from certain individuals. So I would rather say not that Russia was not effective. Yes, they lost this battle in a way, but I also think a lot is due to the Moldovan government, but also to Moldovan independent media that has uncovered stories of Russian campaigns and Russian interferences in the Moldovan elections.
And what about moving forward? What do you think that the president can do to bridge the gap between her government and the pro-Russian side, the voters who did not vote for her and her party?
I would argue we have to go deeper a little bit. I think a lot of people, they did not vote for her, or they are all often labeled as pro-Russian. I think we have to look a little bit deeper into their fears and grievances. And when we look at the polls, what are the main concerns for the Moldovan population? It's really economy, high prices, low salaries, potential fear of corruption. So I think a lot will have to be done also on the economic level to increase the life quality of people in Moldova. Moldova has suffered also and has been impacted a lot by Russia's full-scale war in Ukraine. I mean, both in terms of energy crisis, and there were economic challenges, especially 3 years ago. So I think we will really have to move forward. The government will have to move forward with the reform process. And secondly, I think the government will need to bring the population on board and perhaps also explain better what the EU accession means, because often these messages of what EU is and EU is not have been really instrumentalized by the pro-Russian parties.
Yeah, I want to pick up on that, Anastasia. Before we run out of time, we've got about a minute left. Moldova has an ambitious goal of joining the European Union by the year 2030. Can the PAS party, can they deliver on that?
Actually, I would say that the PAS party and the government can deliver. I think for me, there is a lot to be done, but I think for me the question is also whether EU can deliver. And here, I think for the EU, this is also a crucial geopolitical moment with its eastern enlargement for Ukraine and Moldova. And while Moldova and Ukraine are progressing with its EU accession path, so should the EU do. I mean, we have had Hungary blocking opening of the fundamental clusters for both countries. So I think that would be a meaningful next step.
Okay, well, we'll see if the ears here in Europe are open moving forward. Anastasia Pociumban with the German Council on Foreign Relations. Anastasia, we appreciate your time and your insights tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.